So, have you ever noticed that Elon Musk seems to like the letter X a lot?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a recurring theme with him. It's like he's
Yeah.
got this thing for it. You're not the only one who's picked up on that. Actually, that's what we're looking at today.
We're doing a deep dive into this whole X phenomenon, and
Mm.
we're using a really interesting video essay that someone sent in.
And this isn't just your typical financial news breakdown. This is a deep dive. It gets into the why not just the what.
And the interesting thing is, this essay was originally in Spanish,
Oh, wow.
but we've got the translation, and let me tell you, it's really insightful. Like, remember back in October of 2022 when Musk tweeted, "Buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app."
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah.
hearing it now, after the fact, it sounds kind of ominous.
It does, doesn't it? Like, what does that even mean?
And this was before the deal even went through, right?
Oh, yeah. He hadn't even officially bought Twitter yet.
So clearly this X thing, it was already on his mind.
Totally. And the thing is, this whole everything app idea, it's not exactly new. Musk has talked about apps like WeChat in China before.
Right. Like those platforms that are like a million apps in one.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of apps. It does everything, way more than just social media.
Exactly.
It's like payments and ride hailing and shopping, all of it rolled into one. And that's what's so interesting about this whole X thing with Musk. It's like it represents this desire to like completely change how we interact with technology. He doesn't just want to build companies. He wants to build these digital worlds.
It's not just about Twitter becoming X.
No.
It's about X representing this whole other level, this grand vision that he's got.
It's like his own personal stamp on the future.
But it goes way further back than just Twitter, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
This video essay actually starts back in the dot-com boom.
Yeah, 1999 to be precise.
Wow.
Picture this. Young Elon Musk in a busy restaurant with his business partners, and they're trying to come up with a name for their new online banking company. And guess what name keeps coming up?
Yeah, let me guess. Was it X.com?
Ding, ding, ding.
Hmm.
We have a winner. You got it. X.com.
Even back then.
Even back then, X marked the spot.
Wow. So was it like a stroke of genius, this carefully thought out branding plan?
Well, not quite. According to a former PayPal executive who was actually there that night, the story goes that they were totally stuck on a name, like really stuck. And then, well, in a move that probably only Elon Musk would make, they decided to ask the waitress for her opinion.
Are you serious? They based the name of their company on what a random waitress said.
That's what they say.
I mean, I'm all for getting different perspectives, but that's something else.
It sounds crazy, right? But it just goes to show you how Musk operates. He's not afraid to think outside the box. He doesn't really care about conventional wisdom. I mean, come on, he asked the waitress. And maybe he relies on a little bit of luck, you know?
So what did this, like, Oracle of the Diner table say?
Just call it X.
It's like that.
Short, catchy, easy to remember.
And I guess you can't argue with the results, right?
Nope.
But it's kind of mind-blowing to think that such a pivotal company, I mean, this was huge for Musk, but also for the whole world of online payments.
It changed everything.
And it all started with a casual conversation in a restaurant.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if they went with a different name?
Would we even be talking about X today?
Exactly. It's a good question, isn't it?
It really makes you think. It seems like this whole thing with the restaurant and the waitress, it wasn't just a funny story.
No.
It actually tells us something really important about Musk and X.
Right. It wasn't just a random letter to him, even back then. It was more than that. The story shows us he's always been willing to do things differently. He doesn't mind breaking the rules.
He was already thinking differently even back then.
Oh, absolutely. He was way ahead of the game. And that's probably the thing that defines him the most.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But how does choosing X back then connect to his companies now? It can't just be about quirky names.
You're right. It goes way deeper than that. X has taken on a life of its own. It's not just a name now. It's like this symbol that's woven into everything he does. And nowhere is that more obvious than with SpaceX.
SpaceX. I mean, you see that X and you just think of, like, rockets blasting off into space, pushing the limits of what we thought was possible.
It's more than just space travel, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's about human ambition, but like on a cosmic scale. Like, think about those early explorers, right? They were sailing into uncharted waters, marking the unknown on their maps with an X.
That's true.
Musk is doing the same thing, just on a much grander scale.
And his ocean is space.
Exactly. And his ships are reusable rockets. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. And you know what? The essay actually made me think about something I hadn't before with SpaceX.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's not just about going into the unknown. It's about bringing something back.
That's a good point. It's about discovery, but it's also about pushing those boundaries for all humankind. Like, think about it. SpaceX, they don't just want to get to Mars. They want to colonize it, make it livable for humans.
Wow.
So that X goes from being the symbol of the unexplored to, like, a new frontier for humanity.
It's like solving for X, right?
Exactly. It's about finding the solutions to make the impossible possible.
So it goes from like, what if, to we did it. Which actually, that kind of describes Musk's whole thing with Tesla too, doesn't it?
Totally. It's like he took that same X energy and applied it to electric cars.
Because, let's be real, electric cars used to be seen as kind of, I don't know, slow, boring, not that cool. Then Musk comes along, puts an X on one, and suddenly,
Boom. You've got the Tesla Model X, a head turner with those falcon wing doors that make a spaceship jealous.
right, it's like he's saying, forget what you think you know about electric cars, this is the future and it's here. Though we can't talk about Tesla and X without mentioning
Oh, here we go.
his, shall we say, interesting naming choices.
The infamous S3XY lineup. Say what you want about the guy. He knows how to get people talking.
He does.
Yeah.
And I mean, it all comes back to that waitress story, doesn't it? It's like that playful, unconventional side. It's just a part of who he is.
Absolutely.
But, okay, so we've talked about space. We've talked about shaking things up here on Earth. But then there's XAI.
Ah, yes. XAI. Now that one feels like it's on another level entirely.
Trying to understand the true nature of the universe. That's a pretty big goal, even for Elon Musk.
That's the ultimate unknown, isn't it? And for someone like Musk, who seems to, thrive on pushing boundaries, what bigger challenge is there than trying to crack the code of existence itself?
And that's maybe the deepest connection to X there is. Because AI, it's like the ultimate X factor, isn't it?
It really is. It has the potential to completely revolutionize everything. How we live, how we work, how we understand the world around us. For better or worse, who knows?
Exactly.
And this is where that video essay we were talking about before, it gets really interesting. Because it ties this whole X.AI thing back to the everything app idea.
Wait, hold on. So you're telling me that this AI, which is trying to understand the entire universe, is also going to help me, like, order takeout and book a flight?
Well, not exactly. But the essay argues that Musk sees all of these ventures as different as they seem, as pieces of a much bigger picture. It's all connected.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So it's like X.AI is the brains and the everything app is the body, and X is like the connection between it all.
Something like that. Think about it this way. Smartphones are already pretty central to our lives, right? Communication, information, entertainment, even finances, it's all there.
It's true.
Musk is basically taking that concept and turning it up to 1,000.
Instead of all these different apps and services, he wants to create this single unified platform that integrates everything.
Precisely. It's a vision of the future where technology isn't just something we use, it's something we're seamlessly integrated with.
It's a lot to process, for sure. It does feel a bit like we're putting together a puzzle, but all the lights are out.
But that's what makes this whole X thing so fascinating, isn't it?
Because it's not like he's just changing a logo, right? It's like he's building this bridge between the world we live in now and, I don't know, some kind of sci-fi future.
And he's using Twitter, or X, I guess we have to call it now, as the launching point.
Right. Which brings us back to that big question, what does it even mean for Twitter to become X? Like, is everyone going to be paying for tweets with Dogecoin?
Who knows, maybe.
Will my timeline be full of rocket launch updates and, like, AI poetry?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see what X becomes, won't we?
I guess so.
But putting all the speculation aside for a second, I think the essay makes a really important point. This whole rebrand, it's like a statement. Musk's putting his flag down in the digital world and saying, this is where it all starts.
And this is where I have to be honest. This is where I start to feel a little uneasy about all of this. Like, don't get me wrong. The idea of a hyper-connected future, it's exciting, but well, when you talk about one single platform that controls everything, it makes you think about what could go wrong.
Oh, absolutely. We can't ignore those concerns. Because
Yeah.
let's be real, the more we rely on technology, the higher the stakes become.
Exactly.
And all those big questions, data privacy, algorithms, who really has the power, those aren't just hypotheticals anymore, are they?
It's like that classic sci-fi movie, amazing technology, but then
Yeah.
it all goes wrong.
It's a slippery slope for sure.
It really is. And it seems like it's up to us, the users, to figure out where to draw the line.
We have to be responsible for the future we're creating. Because the future of X, the future of our digital lives, it's not just going to happen to us, is it? It's something we need to help shape.
So what you're saying is understanding Elon Musk's fascination with X. It's not just about understanding him. It's about understanding what the future might hold for all of us.
Now you're getting it. It's a much bigger conversation about the role we want technology to play in our lives.
And maybe it's even a chance for us to think about what we want X to mean in our own lives, in our own digital worlds.
There you go. That's the point. The future of X is still being written, and we're all writing it together.
Well, I think that's the perfect place to end this deep dive.
I think so too.
We've explored the history of X, we've tried to decode what it means for Musk and his companies, and we've even thought about what it might mean for all of us in the future.
And that's the thing, isn't it? We've only just scratched the surface. Just like Musk himself, X is constantly evolving.
That's a great way to put it. So as we all make our way through this ever-changing digital world, keep an eye out for that X. You never know where it might lead you, what new ideas it might spark, or what it might make you question.
Who knows? Maybe one day you'll be sitting in a restaurant faced with a tough decision, and you'll hear a little voice saying, just call it X.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us as we explored the strange world of Elon Musk and this X thing he's got going on. Until next time.